tutorial. I'm Jody and I am going to be using some of the Cozy Chrysanthemum November Bargain Bead Box items, and I would like to make a complete set. I really love this box. It's so pretty. I know I said that about the last one and probably the time before and the time before, but I cannot get disappointed in this box. It is amazing. So I figured we would make a complete set out of some of the products. I am so excited to use, like, these have got to be probably my favorite thing in there. I really want to use these, and I'm hoping that I can figure out the idea in my head and make it work. I really want to use those so bad, so we're gonna do that. The good news is yesterday we got my mom here, got her all unloaded, got a few things unpacked. I went back today and we found her kitchen, and I am off the next few days, and I'll keep going back every day to get her all squared away. She's very excited to be here. It was kind of emotional. I mean, she grew up in that area, and a couple of her sisters still live in that area, but I know she really wanted to be closer to me and, you know, my family here too and everything. So hopefully this is going to be a smooth transition for her, and of course, you know, we're all here and we'll help her out in any way we can. I plan on hopefully next weekend taking her around and taking her to a few different places to see things, and so she knows what's here exactly. The times that she's been here to visit, it's usually just kind of hanging out here. We'll go to Hobby Lobby together, of course, but it's usually just hanging out here, maybe running to the grocery store real quick, but she hasn't really gotten a tour of the area, so I'm super excited. While we were unloading the truck yesterday, two of our neighbors came out and greeted us, and we got to meet them, and everyone is just so friendly and so nice over there. It's amazing. So yay, it's happened. so excited to have her here, and just thrilled. That's all I can say. Thank you for all your prayers and your well wishes, and I appreciate all of you so much. I feel like, you know, my husband hears all this all the time, and I feel like even though you can't respond back to me face to face, talking to you about some of the things going on in my life has really helped me keep things in line and helped me tackle little things at a time, and even let some of the big things go that, well, things that I think are big, but probably really aren't that big. I let some of them go, and I feel better. So thank you for being my therapy as well. I hope that in some way I help you guys too. So that's really about it for that. I'm not really dressed up. I'm kind of in bummy clothes, so I don't have a lot of jewelry on today. I do have to wear earrings on a daily basis, otherwise I feel like I don't have something on, something's missing. So bare bones Jody today, but I've got a couple things too. Oh, I got one thing I want to show you guys. It was so cool. So while I was helping my mom unpack, I came across some old pictures, and the one picture I found is so super special to me. So my great-grandma Davis, who would be my mom's grandma, she was such an amazing woman, and you know, unfortunately, you know, she passed away a long time ago. You know, I was still a pretty little girl when she passed away, but whenever we'd go visit her, I would cling to her. But I clung to all my grandparents like that. Just always had a thing for the elderly, and I still do. I absolutely love people who are, you know, older than me, people who have been around and have experienced so much more in their lives than I have, and I'm always interested to hear their stories and everything that they have to say. But I found a picture, and I asked my mom if I could have it, and it's of me and my great-grandma. So you're going to see little Jody and her great-grandma Davis. Isn't that cute? Oh my goodness. Such a beautiful lady. Oh, she's amazing. So I wanted to share that with you. I thought that was really cute, and I get a kick out of seeing me as a small person, and it's just kind of fun. And it's like I wish I could go back and remember every fun moment of my life when times get you know, to be not fun. Like when you're an adult and you pay bills and, you know, you have to feed the little humans that count on you and clean the house and work, and, you know, life gets kind of not as fun as what it usually was when you were a kid. So that's all I have. And now I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and I'll turn you guys around and we'll get started with this set. Hopefully it works out. It's in my head. You guys know how that is. We're going to give it a shot. All right, here we go. Everyone, this is what we have going on. I have the gold curb chain. I also brought out a couple of different lengths of some gold Coriana chain because I think I want to use that as well. We will be using the gold clasps that came in the bargain bead box. We're going to use those. My first time using magnetic clasps, so we'll see how that goes. We will be using the two gold-plated brass chrysanthemum links. I want to use both of them. I brought some bead caps and some spacers for my own stash. I didn't want to use the hematite ones. I don't feel like they were the look that I was looking for. I think they're going to be more of a casual look for me. So I also have the, so these were the 4x3 faceted quartz rondel beads. So we are going to use them. I love this yellow, it's so pretty. And I have the matte Mookite. So we're going to use those, the 6mm Mookite. It also came in the bargain bead box. And we are going to use these rondels too in dark red, the 8x5mm rondels. So we're going to use those as well. And what I was thinking is I would like to make like a double, like a two like layered, a double necklace. I would like to do that. So I was thinking, and I know that can be dangerous at times, that I wanted to do them up here, but then I don't know, like, and then have the necklace come down further. But then I thought, no, I don't really want to do that either. So I'm thinking that I might want to use just one of these in the necklace and have it be like a center and have two strands coming out this way, and maybe use this in the bracelet. So I think that's what we're going to do. So I was thinking that having two strands come out on both sides of this, and then if we wanted to, we could even hang a few things down from this little back circle. I don't know if that's what I'll end up doing, but I know I definitely want to use this because it's just so pretty, so pretty. So I am going to make sure that this camera is lined up because I'm feeling like it's not. And I am going to pull everything out and we'll get started. I'll be right back. And just to let you know, I also do have my Bead-A-Lon 7-strand in satin gold beading wire because I do want to use that as well. And jump rings and head pins and eye pins and everything else like that we would probably use. So let's go ahead and like get this started here. Oh, and I finally got some new cutters. They're like the lighter, smaller version of Xuron ones, but I love these. I've used them about, I don't know, half a dozen times so far, and they cut so nice. So whoever recommended Xuron products to me before, thank you. I think these were right around $12, which I didn't feel it was too bad for something that I'm going to use so much. So this is my baby step into the Xuron brand, and we'll see how things go because I do eventually need to replace some of these tools. They're getting, they're not great. All right, so I think what I want to do is I do want to cut off some of this beading wire, and I think I want to use probably about 10 inches. I always give myself more than what I need for some reason, and I want to do 2 of them like that because that's going to be my bottom strand. So we'll do 2 of those. All right. They're just about 10 inches. Move that off to the side so we don't need that. And I do have some crimp tubes and everything else here too that we need. So I'm going to get those out. I am using the 2x2 crimp tubes from Bead Box, number 2 of course, and I love them. They are the best crimp beads I've ever used. So we're just going to flip this little guy over for now, and I do want to leave this one single one on the bottom in case I decide that I want to dangle some things off of it. I don't know if I will or not, but it's just in case. So this strand I want to put here, and it's going to be my bottom strand. So let's go ahead and feed on this one crimp tube, and then we'll feed on our wire guardian. All right. And I'm just going to put that through the one little circle of this link. If I can get my fingers around it. Sorry if that's really hard to see. So I'm just putting it through there, like that. I don't know if you can see that. All right, and then we're gonna just drop that crimp tube down onto the other wire, if I can get my hands to work properly. There we go. And grab my crimping pliers, and I am going to use the last notch and crimp that little guy down. Oh, and speaking of crimping pliers, thank you for everyone, you know, your good reviews, your bad reviews, everything about the magical crimping pliers, because I want to know the good and bad and ugly of everything. So I do appreciate that so much. I enjoy, you know, hearing everybody's personal experiences about it. So thank you for your guys' quick comments on that. I really appreciate that. You people are the ones that I go to with questions like this, because you all have been doing this probably for, you know, a long time, and I take what you have to say to heart, and I like to run with it. So we're gonna go ahead and put on our other wire too. We'll get them both on there. All right. There we go. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. We're just going to put them right here, like so. And we're going to drop this down as well. You know, every time I do a video, I feel like I bring a couple different varieties of chain with me, because I never know which one I want to use. So it's like I picture something in my head, but I know that I want like a plan A and a plan B, just in case plan A doesn't work out for me. So then I use plan B, and sometimes plan B doesn't work, and then we use plan C, or sometimes we just say, you know what, I'm just gonna take this apart and not worry about it and start over. All right, so that's what we got so far, and that's gonna be our bottom. I know it's gonna seem a little weird right now, the way I have this, but I'm thinking it's going to work out. We'll see. All right, so let's grab some beads and let's start beading them. And I think I want the bottom one to be more of my shinier beads. I want them to be a little more sparkly. And I do plan on using some of the matte ones in this too, but I really want the bottom one to have a lot more sparkle and a little less matte. So we are going to go ahead and start stringing this on, and let's start doing with these little yellow rondels. I love these. Man, this color, all these colors together are just perfect. And it's so funny, until I started making jewelry, I never realized just how many colors go together. And I know that sounds really strange or whatever, because yeah, I know I had to put clothes on and I had to match up outfits, but that's different. Like to me it's different. And honestly, like I never would have thought to wear these two colors together, this deep red and this yellow. I never would have thought it, but here you are. You can look at it right here, and yes, it definitely looks good together. All right, so I think we want to do maybe 2 of those because they just kind of hide behind that. Yeah, these links are so cute. I feel like there was some things in comments that also I wanted to say something about, but I can't remember what it was now. Can't remember. All right, so let's go ahead and grab, let's use one of these little guys on either side. So I'm also, since I'm off Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Tuesday I'm meeting up with my best friend Dana. Her and I, we only live an hour and a half apart, but you know, she works, I work, she's got things going on, I have things going on, and we never get to see each other hardly at all anymore. And you know, a few times a year we would meet up in Grand Rapids, and she lives further north than that, and we'd meet there 'cause it's kind of our halfway point, and have lunch and, you know, do a little shopping together and just kind of hang out and, you know, have each other's company. I need to cut a little bit of this string because it's kind of annoying me. So we're finally going to be able to do that. And she says, I've had your birthday present. So my birthday's in May, and we always do like birthdays and Christmas, you know, and we do Galentine's Day for, you know, Valentine's Day for each other too. And we both just like, when we find stuff, we, you know, set it aside because we know, oh, Dana would like this, or oh, Jody would like this. And then we end up usually both having like big bags of stuff. But I know that this video will not be out by the time I go, so I can say it. My best friend, Dana, is a huge Duran Duran fan and has always been a big Duran Duran fan her whole life, ever since she was a kid. And a couple years ago, when Funko Pop came out with, and if you're not familiar with what Funko Pop is, it's like little cartoon miniature versions of like the real people, like different stars or different characters of movies and stuff like that. And she likes them. They're really adorable. Anyway, they came out with the Duran Duran ones, and I got them for her for Christmas, and she was so excited. Well, if you are familiar with Duran Duran and 80s pop music, in the 80s they had a song and a video called Wild Boys, and it was a huge hit. Well, Funko Pop came out this year with the Duran Duran Wild Boys version, and they are so cute, so adorable. So I got them for her, and I'm going to bring them to her for her birthday, and I know she's going to be so excited. They're really adorable. If you've never seen a Funko Pop, just Google Funko Pop, and you'll see like how many different characters they have. I mean, they have them for like Star Wars, they have like superheroes, they have the characters from The Office. I mean, just anything that's pretty much pop culture, they have them. They make them. So they're really fun. So if you know somebody whose favorite show was The Office or something, you could get them all the characters from The Office, or get them their favorite character. Okay, so I think I'm really gonna like this. This is gonna be really, really pretty. All right, so I think we got a good start here. Let's keep going with this and see where we're at. I think do another one of these yellow ones, or maybe a few of them. Let's do a few of them because they're really pretty. So and then Wednesday I'll go back to my mom's and help her out with that. With more unpacking and everything. You know, there is something actually I would like to address about in comments. I'm sure you guys have seen that there was somebody who was actually, honestly, I can take it when somebody says things like, you talk too much. I do talk too much. I talk a lot, but that's who I am. We've had this discussion, I'm sure. But apparently this person just stumbled across the page, and I guess maybe it bothered me because this person referred to me as Wendy. So I corrected them right away, and I said, you know, hi, I'm actually Jody. You must be new here. I didn't say anything more about anything of that, but this person was not thrilled about how I over-explain things and how I talk too much, and that, you know, I'm going to lose subscribers and all these things. Well, I didn't feel like I needed to explain to them why I'm doing this. I didn't think it would really matter to that person. The only thing I want to say about that is if for some reason this person decided to come back and watch another tutorial, I'm talking directly to you as I'm talking to everybody else too. I do believe that you are entitled to your opinion, but when you are trying to deliberately hurt somebody, then that's something that's deeper within you. And I'm really sorry that you are going through that in your life, whatever it may be. And I am not the kind of person that gets hurt feelings very easy. So if that was an attempt, I'm sorry, but it didn't work. You didn't win. The only thing that bothered me is that you obviously don't know what's going on here in this world that we are beating in right here, this channel. You don't know what's going on. So I'm not going to even fill you in on it because it's obviously not why you came here. But I am going to tell you that I will pray for you, and I will ask others to pray for you to help ease whatever pain you're going through. And that's all I have to say about that. All right, so we're gonna move right along, and we're gonna, you know, these bead caps, you guys, were from that one window box, Jesse James window box set that I had extras of. I thought they would look so cute on here, so we're gonna use them on here too. All right, so now let's go into some of these matte beads. And I am just kind of picking out the yellowy and purpley colors. I want them all to be like the same colors. All right, and then let's do some more of these really pretty deep red crystals. All right, I'm going to continue stringing these on. I'm going to pause this real quick, and when I come back, this part will be all strung, and then we'll work on the next part. I'll be right back. I got this strung on here, and I'm going to go ahead and end these strands and attach them to our curve chain that we have. I'm going to find the length of the curve chain that I would like to use. I would like this to be a little bit shorter of a necklace. So I'm going to just measure this on myself, and right about here. So for myself, I'm going to end up cutting this in half, and I am using probably about 10 inches of chain, so approximately 5 inches on each side. So I'm just going to cut this link. that piece aside. And then we're going to attach the end of our necklace right onto the chain. So I'm gonna need one of these crimp beads, crimp tubes, and I'm going to need a wire guardian, and I'm going to run that back through the wire guardian, and oh no, I'm not, just through my wire guardian, not my crimp tube yet. I almost made a mistake. Just hold that there for a second and let me find the center of this. Got all these little scratches on my hands from boxes and everything, and I'm like, okay, well, it's fine. This one I think is actually from my kitten. She was playing with me and she got me. All right. And then I forget like how much, how drying cardboard and newspaper and newsprint, like the, that taupe colored paper that you use to wrap things into is, oh, there it is. Okay, where's that piece I cut? And my hands have been soaking them with lotion because they've been so dry. All right, so I'm gonna take the one end of my curb chain and I'm gonna thread it onto my wire, right into my wire guardian. That way we don't need a jump ring. It's just connected right to the chain. And now I'm gonna feed it through my crimp tube. Oops. And probably just this first bead here. Oh, okay, so I went through the second one. So we'll go through the second bead. There we go. All right. Now I'm just gonna straighten this out and make sure that I am not crimping these crisscross inside that crimp tube because that will damage your wire. And grab my crimp tubes, my crimping pliers, and crimp down that crimp tube in the last notch and then flip that around and crimp it the other way. There we go. And we'll cut this piece off and I'll save it because we'll use it for something. All right. So that side is done there. Now mind you, we'll need to do a second strand on this on this necklace as well. All right, so we'll do the same thing on this side. Crimp tube, wire guardian, all the way down, back through my wire guardian. String on my curb chain. And I'm not going to attach a magnetic clasp right now because it'll just like grab onto everything. So I'm going to do that very last with my necklace because I know it'll just like be attracted to everything on this necklace and it'll end up getting kind of tangly. So let's put this on here. All right, I want to feed that back through my crimp tube and my first bead. Okay, that one went through the second bead too. That's fine. I don't mind. Okay, and just pull that down until we get it to be, you know, pretty tight, but not to the point where it's that end of the strand is like too stiff or anything like that. And crimp that crimp tube down. There we go. Okay, so we have that part done. And let's see. I really want to use some of this coriander chain. So I have a couple lengths here. So if we did here, let's see, actually I can use the same one for both. So I'm going to cut this in half. And then we have a half for each side. And I'm going to need more of my, I have enough crimp tube. Oh no, actually I have enough crimp tubes, it looks like. Yeah, okay. So for this, I'm going to put on my little clamshell connector first. And then a crimp tube. And we're going to just use our flat nose pliers, our chain pliers, and just squish it down. Notice I left just a tiny little bit here. I do that on purpose. One thing Wendy taught us is that the ends can break off pretty easy if you go too far down at the end. So then I'm gonna just tuck that piece inside my clamshell and close it up. Just like so. And then we'll do the same for the other side. My clamshell connector and my crimp tube. And just smash it down, leaving that little tiny bit at the end. And then we'll close it up. All right, so now that we have that, I know that we're going to need to attach this part to the back of this, but we're gonna need to use some really teeny tiny jump rings. So I'm just gonna grab out a few of these really tiny ones here. And I'm just gonna flip this over so we can get to the part that we need. Okay. All right, so this is where it's going to be. It's going to attach here. So I'm going to grab, I have my bent nose pliers and my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to open up this jump ring, and we're going to attach it right to our chrysanthemum link. Make sure that's closed all the way. There we go. It's kind of a weird angle, huh? All right, let's try it on this one over here. Go. And then I'm going to just attach it right here. And use my other pliers to help close it. Just making sure it's closed all the way. Don't want that slipping off there. All right, so now if I turn it back over, this is what we have. I can get it, there we go, get it spread apart here. All right, so this is what we have. And now we do want to kind of disguise our little pieces down here. So I would like to put some beads on here just to try to make it look a little less obvious that there's like a big gold thing sitting right there. So let's use some of our little matte beads here too. Okay, and throw in a few colors here because we're going to want to use these. Okay, So let's go ahead and string some of these on. I'm gonna start with these little Yellow Rondels though. String that on first. And let's see, we'll just do one. I want to go with this dark color. It's almost like a deep purpley gray. It's really, really dark. Go with that one. And then let's do one of these little spacers. Excuse me, guys. And then one of these darker mustardy colored ones. And then let's do, this one's really cool. All right, let's do, I thought I had another pinkishy color. Here we are. Let's do one of these. And then on this side, let's do the same thing. I can see what I'm doing here. All right. And that one. And then we need one of these. And let's use this one. And this pinkishy purpley one here. Okay. All right, and then I do want to use some of these burgundy ones. Again, these deep red ones, they're so pretty. So let's go ahead and go right into that. So let's grab this, and then let's use a couple of these spacers. Do the backwards spacers here. Kind of inverted. I'll double them up and use another one. And the same on this side. Okay. So, and I don't want to go all the way up with these, with the strand, because I do like that you can see the gold. It looks really pretty. So we're not going to go all the way up with it. We're going to go right to right about here. So I just want to use maybe another one of these and a couple of those little gold ones. Some of these little gemstones, hard to get on the Coriana chain. You gotta really mess with it. All right, so let's use this. And then let's do the same thing on this side. And we're gonna actually crimp on the chain down by the bottom just so that the beads all kind of stay where they're supposed to. So it rests right up against that little guy right there. So we're going to put on this crimp tube and let it just fall right down next to that bead, and then we're just going to flatten it, just like so. Just give it a good squish, and it just kind of blends in with the chain, so it's not really a big deal. And I did not beat a gold one on that end, so we're going to take the gold one off this end. There we go. And then run that crimp tube down there. And then just do the same thing on this side. We're just going to squish that down. Right there. All right, now that's going to prevent them from traveling up the necklace. So I'll move all that to the side, and we're going to want to attach this also to this chain. So what we're going to do, oh, that one didn't stay. Let me squish it one more time. All right, now it's gonna stay. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to get some more crimp tubes out, and we're going to attach it right up here to this spot on the chain right along with this. But we'll end up having to use a jump ring with that as well, but I do have some tiny little ones here, so that'll be perfect. Let me get some more little crimp tubes out. All right. Just need two. There we go. All right, and now this, I need to be a little bit precise. So I'm pretty sure my clamshell will be right about here. So I know that I'm gonna want to use a tiny jump ring to connect those. So let's go ahead and get this side done here. So I'm putting my clamshell connector on first. And then I'm putting my crimp bead on. And you can just kind of let them fall in together, it's fine. Because you're gonna be sliding this around too. Once you see where you need to have it, then you'll be okay to move it. So it looks like right here is where, oh, maybe just up a little bit higher. Right about here is where I'm going to need it to be. So I'm going to just slide that up a little bit. And I'm gonna actually drop that so I can get a good squish on here. This is where I want it to be. So we're just gonna squish that down. Make sure it's on there tight, and it is. I can cut off what I don't need of this chain, and I'll save that little bit, because I'm sure I'll use it for something. All right. And then I can bring that clamshell up and hide my little crimp inside. All right, and now let's grab one of these little jump rings. Oops, I didn't close that very well. There we go. I'm gonna grab my little jump ring, get that open. And I'm just gonna loop it through the hole on my clamshell connector and right through that bottom of that chain. And then just twist that jump ring back closed again. And just make sure it's closed all the way. That chain is very fine, so I feel like it would slip through there pretty easily. All right, so just like that. Now we gotta try to get the other side precisely the same length. Okay, so let me make sure I have this all lined up correctly. So it'll do what I want it to do. All right. And I'm going to drop this little guy right onto my chain here. My little clamshell connector. And then my crimp tube. And then let's just gently slide that up. I'm gonna bring this down so that you can see what's going on better. Just slide that up to where I need it to be. So probably right about there. And I'm just gonna grab that crimp tube where it's at and just let the other piece fall down to the bottom. It doesn't matter because we'll bring it back up in a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and crimp my crimp tube down. Just squish it down, give it a good one. I'm gonna cut off what I don't need, leaving a tiny little bit right above my crimp tube. Oops, there we go. Bring my crimp tube up. I can hide that little piece there. Just squish that shut. Make sure it's shut all the way. And then I have my other little jump ring. I'm gonna open that up. And I'm just going to string this on my chain, right in the same little link that my wire guardian is on. Okay. Oh, get on there, there we go. Close my jump ring. And again, just make sure it's closed all the way. There we go. All right, so this is what we have. And I kind of feel like we do maybe need to add just a little something hanging down here. And it doesn't have to be much. Maybe just maybe a couple little dangles. And maybe we could even use some of this chain to do the dangles. So I think maybe we'll do 3. So we can do one that's going to be longer, and then we can do a couple shorter ones. So let's do one that is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's do one that's 12 lengths long. All right. And then let's do one that's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How about 7? 7 sounds like a good number. And then let's do, oh, I am so sorry, you guys. I was trying to throw something away and I made this go crazy. Let's do one that's only about 5. All right, now we're done with that chain for now. Okay, so we need some dangles on the ends of these chains, and I think I really would like to use one of these, and I know that I definitely want to use that one because look at this, how pretty that is. And I think I really want to use this one as well. So let's use those 3. And I have some ball head pins here because we're going to just wire wrap it right onto the bottom of these chains. So for this first one, I want to use this big guy here. He's really pretty. And I am going to put that little gold one on the bottom because it just looks really cute. So let's go ahead and do a wire wrap loop on here, and we'll connect it right to our chain. I think I want to put this one on the longest length. In case you've never done a wire wrap loop before, we are just going right down to the end of the bead with our pliers and then bending that wire over, flipping our wrist so that this part is facing up, and wrapping that wire around and underneath, and this is what you end up with. All right, I'm gonna use my bent nose pliers and there we go. And oh, I said I was gonna put it on. You know what? We'll use a tiny jump ring. It's absolutely fine. I am not gonna cut this off. So we'll just use a teeny tiny jump ring. All right. It's never a failure if you have jump rings, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and squish that little piece in there, and then I will find a little jump ring. Might as well just grab out a few of them because we'll probably need them. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up and hang it from our big chain. Like so, and then we'll hook them right on to the bottom of our flower. And there is one little space left, see it right here? So we're just gonna use that bottom little circle that we have left over. Sometimes you never know if you're gonna need dangles on a necklace until you get the necklace to where you think it's done, and then you're like, nope, it does need one more thing. It needs some little dangles. So there's that one. And they're gonna be kind of long. A couple of them are gonna be longer. Of course, we're gonna have a little short one. All right, and I do want to use the last of these. And I want to use them in a way though that you can see the bead. So I want to put this one on first, and then I want to put one of these little yellow ones on. Oop. If I can hang on to it underneath, and then feed that right on top. So it sits on the gold one a little bit more to where you can see more of the bead. Otherwise this would cover it up mostly like it does here, which I don't mind it here, but here I would like to see more of the bead. And then we'll just do a little wire wrap loop, and this time I'll remember to hook it right directly onto the chain. Okay, leaving that there. Grab my chain before I forget about it. And we're just going to wrap this on. Just give it a couple really good wraps. Just like so. And we can trim that off. Little tail. There we go. And if there's anything sticking up or out, you can just squish it. And then let's grab another one of our jump rings. And let's open that up. Oh, where's my opening? There it is. There we go. And we're just gonna hook it right onto that same little circle that that first dangle is hanging from. Like so. Oh, that's gonna look really cute. And of course you can dangle these all up just however you want. You know, you can make it all dangles if you want to. I'm gonna leave it just the way it is, but you definitely could just put little dangles all the way up. It would look really pretty. All right, so I wanna get the right side of this showing. There we go. And just like the other one, we're gonna put this on. And we're going to use this little petal bead cap again. There we go. And we can string on our last little chain. Oops, I didn't leave that open far enough. Let me pop that open a little bit. There we go. All right. And let's go ahead and close this up and do our little loop, our little wire wrap. Yep, come on you. There we go. Just like so. Now I can trim that off and hang that one on, and we'll go ahead and put our clasp on. I think our necklace is done. And then we can move on to a quick one-strand bracelet and a pair of cute earrings. That'll go with this. All right, where's some of these openings on these teeny tiny ones are so hard to find. Okay. And hook that on, right onto that same circle. There we go. This one's being really stubborn. Okay. All right, let's get these clasps on. And then I can show you that. All right, so here's my magnetic clasp. And these are actually pretty strong. Like it was pretty powerful. So let's, I don't know how those got in there, those are silver. All right, so we're going to hook these on. I'm going to use a smaller jump ring just because it blends in so well with the chain. hook it on the end there with my magnetic closure. Okay, I can just go ahead and stick that back on there. And then same on this side, need a small jump ring. There we go. Oh, that was silly. Hope if I hooked it onto here first. There we go. Okay, so now the necklace is done. I'm just gonna lay this aside on the side here so you guys can see. Scoot those out of the way. Whoop. Let me get this the right way here. Oh, I am so sorry, you guys. I need like a bigger workspace or something. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. All right, I had it all tangled up. So this is how it'll look. And it will just, these will hang a little bit tighter here, and these will just kind of bow out a little bit more. And then you have your dangles coming down. And I think that looks cute. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one aside, and I am going to get started on the bracelet. So I'm sorry, when I hit the camera earlier, it probably knocked it all out of whack, so I had to fix it too while I cleaned up a little bit. So my plan is maybe to do 2 beaded strands on this side and then 2 chain on this side. And instead of making it a single, we'll make it a double. And I think that I can get this to where it will work out the way I'm thinking, I think. So we're gonna be confident about it, and we're gonna make it happen. And I'm gonna get some more of these crimp tubes out. It looks like I'm gonna need 4 total for this. So there's 4. And I'm going to need a couple more wire guardians. So I'm just gonna grab 2 more. And we're gonna just try to use up what we have left with my little gold spacers here. So there's not gonna be spacer heavy, but it will be pretty either way. So the first thing I wanna do is I'm gonna flip this over, and because we're using 2 strands on this side, I'm just gonna hang them both from one of each of these. And since we're using this, I think I wanna do it as in like 1 hook on here and have it be the double strand chain. And I think I want this to fit a little snug, so I'm gonna probably have to pick it up and measure it a couple times. So let's go ahead and get this started then. So let's put our crimp bead on first, and then our wire guardian. There we go. Okay, and let me fix it. It is all out of whack there. Sorry guys, what a mess. I am an absolute mess today. All right, and then go ahead and feed that through your wire through your wire guardian. You don't need a lot of space. You just pretty much need enough to get through this little loop here. All right. Okay, and then put your wire back through your crimp tube. All right. All right, and I got him squished down, so he's ready to go. And now let's just do the other one here, since we have this flipped over anyway. Do the same thing on this side. Okay. Sorry, my hand's right in the way. Let me try to be a contortionist and make it so you can actually see what I'm doing here. There we go. Just kind of use my pliers, and this one was kind of really wide for some reason. It must have got stretched out a little bit. So let's just fix him. All right, so now we have that, and we can go ahead and bead on here. And I think, I don't know, like I'm thinking I want to do just all gemstones on one, and then do the this deep red and the yellow on the other one. So let's just go ahead and start doing that. I actually want to start with this big deep red one here. There we go. And let's do a couple right next to each other, like so. And then we can do one of these little yellow ones. And let's do a couple more of these big ones. I love these. Absolutely love these. There we go. And let's do another yellow. Do a couple more of these red ones. And another yellow. And I think a couple more red ones and one more yellow one should be good. All right, now if I pick that up and put that on my wrist, that should be about halfway around. Let me see if my eyeballs were correct. So maybe a little bit more than halfway. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take this last little yellow one off and just put him off to the side. There we go. So that's gonna work out nice. All right, so we have that. And now I'm going to grab my wire guardian and my crimp tube, because we're gonna just close this right off right now. So we're gonna end up having to put it on a jump ring before we put it on our clasp anyway. So we'll do that when we get ready to put it on our clasp. All right, put on our wire guardian. And through. And through a bead and our crimp tube. And just pull that straight down. All right. Leave a little bit of room for yourself there. And just go ahead and crimp it. And crimp it again. There we go. My intentions with this bargain bead box is I want to be able to use up every little thing on it. I want to use all of it. I want to use every last little piece. I'm having a struggle with the hematite though, you guys, to be honest with you, because it's almost like, to me it's not really like a gold, it's almost like an olive, which maybe I should just treat it as like an olive green then, if that's how I see it. That looks kind of olivey to me, or something like that. Maybe that's just how I should look at it. And that's how I should, bead with it accordingly. Because I'm having to struggle with it because it says it's gold, but it doesn't look gold to me, you know what I mean? It's pretty. I think it's really cool because I've never seen anything like it, but it's just not, like I can't wrap my head around it. So it's not Bargain Bead Box's fault. It's just I can't wrap my head around what the color, what it says it is, but what it really is. It just doesn't look like gold to me. But like I said, it's still really cool. It's very unique, and I do like unique things. So I just need to figure out how I want to use it and then just use it. All right, so let's do some of these spacers. We're just gonna try to maybe kind of keep like a few of the light colors together, but in different shades. So that looks pretty. And then we can use another one of these. Oops. And let's maybe do some of these deeper purple ones. These are really pretty. This whole thing is just, I love these. And I love how this has like this little dot on it, this like light purple dot. That's really cute. And then here's one that's a little more plum. And let's see, these should be just about even. Looks like I need probably one more bead. So let's do this. Let's do the spacer. So I know I want to use that last spacer up. And then let's just do one more bead, but let's make it this really light, swirly, purple and white looking one. And then those two should be just about the same length. Oh, and they are the same length. That's just about perfect. Okay, so now we know we can close this side off. Try to put that crimp tube on there. Okay, and then my wire guardian. And let's go ahead and feed that through my wire guardian on this side and through that crimp tube, and just the one bead is fine. There we go. And just give that a little tug and pull that down. All right, and then we can go ahead and squish our crimper, or crimp with our crimper. That one wants to keep squirming. There we go. All right. Cut that off. And there's the one side of our bracelet. All right, so I'm gonna just scoot these little guys off to the side. We'll clean them up in a little bit here. So now I want to use probably a jump ring to put this on here, because I just want to use it as like a double. And we know that this side fits fine, so we're gonna actually use this as our measurement, not membership. Oh my goodness, I am having a rough time talking. So my husband said that I must have been so tired the other day. Like, I went to bed, and usually when I go to bed, I will, check things out online. And if I was like right in the middle of looking at something when I decided to get up and go to bed, I'll continue looking at what I'm looking at. And he said that he was talking to me, and he could see that my phone was in my hands. I was laying on my back, and I had my phone, in my hands like this. And he's like, well, she's not answering me. That's weird. So he looked over, and I was asleep. So I had to take my phone out of my hand so I could just be comfortable and sleep. So it was pretty funny. All right, so let's find the center of this. But I know sometimes we all feel like we have the candle burning at both ends, and it just gets you kind of sleepy. All right, so I need a jump ring for our chain. So let's go ahead and open that up. And hook that on there. Hope I just didn't lose the middle, and I did lose the middle. Okay, that's all right, we can adjust that. There we go. All right, and then hook that on our one little single loop right there. Come on in back and close that up. And just close it up really good. All right. Okay, that's gonna be cute. That's gonna be really, really cute. I think I'm gonna really like that. All right, so now we can put our little clasp on. Oh yeah, this one is really, it's pretty strong. See if I can even get it. Is it just stuck? This one might be like glued shut, guys. I don't know. I can't get it to budge. All right, well, I'm gonna pause this for a second and I'm gonna go get a lobster clasp. I'll have to see if maybe Shane can get that apart for me. I don't know, maybe it's just being, really difficult. All right, and I do need a couple of jump rings and we're gonna use a couple of these. And these, I think these are about like a 6 or 7 millimeter jump ring. All right, so let's go ahead and finish up this cute little bracelet, and then we can do a little quick pair of earrings. All right, and I'm gonna put that jump ring through both of these wire guardians. And then I'm going to hook this clasp on. And just close that right up. So now we have that part done. And then I am going to actually use a smaller jump ring to hold both of the ends of my chain together and use the larger jump ring for my lobster clasp to clasp onto. Go ahead and hang on that other, whoop. Well, let's go ahead and hang the chain on first then. So just grabbing both of those ends. And then our bigger jump ring. And if I can get it lined up, there we go. And just close up that jump ring right there. Maybe. There we go. All right. Okay, and we can't not add a few little dangles, right? We have to do it. It's what we do. So let's go ahead and use this last little guy here because it's really cute. And let's use, I kind of would like to use this. I know it's not matching anything we have going on, but I'm not really concerned about that. I think it's really pretty and I really would like to use that. So let's just grab a few of these. And just like before, let's go ahead and feed this little guy on. And I want more of that blue to show. So let's just put him on. And then let's put that little yellow one on. And then our little flower petals. And let's do a wrap loop. And these we will hang with jump rings because I think they'll just kind of hang a little bit better. So we're just gonna go ahead and completely wrap these loops and just hang everything with our jump rings. Settle down there. There we go. And just trim that off. And let's do one of these. And let's put one of these on top. It's a little bit thinner, it kind of twisted pretty easily. Those other ones that I have are really thick. Okay. There we go. Let's do this little purple one as a dangle. of these back. So I just want to do one teeny tiny little gold one here. Little teeny tiny one. Come on, settle down. I just can't seem to get a grip on it. There we go. Okay, so we have our dangles and we're just gonna find some places to put them. So let's get some more of these teeny tiny jump rings. I feel like I go through so many of these little tiny jump rings. All right, and we're gonna go ahead and hang these on. So I would like to put, I think I'm just gonna be kind of random with it. And I think I wanna use a charm too. So I think we're gonna do that as well. So let's go ahead and just hang here. And you can just connect them to both chains. I think it'd be better if you did anyway. Just kind of hold them together. If you choose to do this, that is. There we go. Okay, I got that one. And let me find the charms. They're right next to me here somewhere. And I think I just want to do one of those little fall wreath ones. Like, I don't want to do the chrysanthemum ones. I think I have a plan for that, but I'm not 100% there yet. So let's just do one of these because I think they're really pretty. And I think it needs to be on here. All right, so let's grab another little jump ring. And let's just continue to do some dangles. Whoops. Here we go. I'm curious if anyone has ever used every single last bead in their bargain bead box or any other subscription box that they've had. I usually end up having like a few pieces left over or things that maybe were not my favorite would be left over. And then I have to try to figure out where I want to use them so I could use them. And sometimes I never use them. Sometimes they just sit in my stash and I come across them like, you know, months later. But I'm wondering if anyone has ever used an entire bead box subscription package, like within, I'm gonna say within the month of it coming out. If you have, let me know. If you have not, let me know. I'm kind of curious to see who all has done different things with their subscription boxes. Or did you ever look at a subscription box when you got it and you're like, I know exactly what I'm doing with this. I don't even have to think about it. And you just opened it up and just started working on it. And before you know it, you were a creating machine and you were just making all kinds of stuff. Tell me about like your favorite project maybe that you did from a bead box subscription. That would be really fun if I could find out what your favorite project was that you've done. Okay, I think this little guy is done and now we can just move on to a quick and easy pair of earrings. I think I want to make the earrings pretty simple. Everything else is very ornate and I think that it's okay to have one piece that's going to be just kind of maybe not as showy as the rest. But here's the bracelet. I think that turned out really cute. So I'll set him aside with our necklace. All right, so let me grab my ear wires. We have them here. All right, and let's just do some real easy, like just stick ones. That's kind of what I want to do. no chain involved, just maybe, you know, a couple head pins and maybe a couple eye pins, or just maybe a couple head pins. I don't know. Let's just see what we have. So let's do this big burgundy one. I've called this red, I've called it deep red, I've called it burgundy, I've called it maroon. I don't even know. I've called it so many colors. And then let's see if we can find a couple of these that look very similar. All right, well, here is, these two both have like that kind of like a little bit of white, like in purple swirl. So let's do those. All right. And let's just do this little gold one. Sometimes I just like earrings like this. Just real simple. They tie the rest of it in together because you're using all the same beads, but it's not too much. So let's go ahead and just do a wire wrap loop on the top of this. Just make this real basic pair of earrings. Basic but pretty. Whoops. I mean, most of the time I like to use chain in my earrings and long dangles, and today I just want to do a shorter pair of earrings. And just, you know, have all the colors that we used already. All right, and here's my ear wire. Let's open this up. These are really strong ear wires. I like these. And I believe I got these from Auntie's Beads. I think they're really good. They're really, really good ear wires. All right, so let's do the same thing over here. And they've always got such really good deals going on with some of their findings and stuff. And I've found some really cute pendants and toggle clasps and everything, and they just have some of the cutest stuff. But their ear wires are really good. I like them. All right, and let's wire wrap this one. Okay. Let's close it up. There we go. And there's my other ear wire. All right, and then there's our cute little pair of earrings, just little dainty earrings. All right, I'm gonna clean this up and I'm gonna get these on for you guys. So here is the necklace. And I know it looks a little bit funny on this sweater, over top of my sweatshirt, I should say. I tucked the collars in so you could see it. So it does dangle, which is really cute. And it just kind of sits perfectly right here on my chest, which is kind of where I wanted it to be. Of course, it would make a really cute, even longer necklace if you wanted to wear it with like a really cute long sweatshirt and a sweater or something, and a pair of cute leggings. And then here are the earrings, and see, just real simple, super easy earrings, just tiny. And I like them because it's just enough. And then here's the bracelet. So I think I could have made it a little bit snugger, but I don't hate that it's a little bit baggy. You can see I got my little dangles on here, and then the side where all of the pretty beads are. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. I'm kind of excited about it. It's very, very shiny, very, very shiny. But anyway, so there is the first project for November, and I'm looking forward to doing more. Again, I want to try to use as much of this box as I can. I'd like to use 100% of this box, so let's do it. Let's try it. All right, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful night. think about us as I am going to help my mom unpack some more tomorrow. Hopefully we can get to her bedroom and get that all squared away and like perfect for her with her closet and everything. So maybe I'll even do a quick little introduction video to add to one of my videos of my mom and me working hard. All right, everyone, have a really great day, and God bless you all, and thank you again for all your support for all of us ladies and for Chris and everybody else. And bye.